Hi. Uh, so we have seen some variable types, and actually we can also convert between different types. So, for example, if we have a string, let's say this is 10, and we can print the content of this x, and also we can see the type of this variable x. So we can see that it's a string as it shows in the type variable. And if you want to convert this to let's say float, or we can also convert it to an integer, and then we can do this print x and type of x thing again. So you can see this time we assign this as a float. So we can do this conversion from strings to integers or floats, and also from float or integer we can also convert back to a string. So for example, if we define this as a floating point number, we can convert this to a string and print x type. I want to see the type of x again. So we can see we convert back to the string. Okay, so these are the conversions. Another thing I would like to show is we can import actually some modules in Python. For example, the math module. And in these modules, there are many functions that we can use. And if we want to see the list of functions in a module, we can print this directory. So you can see these names like cosine, cosine h. So this is the arc sine. So that's the inverse sine function. You can see inverse tangent function, etc. So there are many functions that we can use within this package, this module called as math. Okay. So you can see the exponential, we have the factorials, floor, etc. So there are many different, like the pi or the logarithm, sine, etc. Square root, all are some examples. So if you want to access some elements, so for example, if x is equals to 36, and if I want to print the square root of this function, I can use math dot. So in order to access the functions within this module called as math, we use the dot operation, and then I can write the function that I want to use, for example, the square root of x. Okay, so as we can see, we can take the square root of x, and similarly you can take the sine, for example, sine of this x, so just like this, and we can see the print result. So you can see we can use the functions that are already defined within these modules. So another module, for example, there is if you want to import another module which is called as random. So this is to generate some random numbers, and actually we can print random. So let me try. So we can see that it will generate some random numbers between 0 and 1 every time that I run, and it's going to be a different number. Okay, so it is initiating with some random seed, and it gives us a different random number between 0 and 1. So these are just examples. And if you want to define our own, let's say, function, so we will use this def keyword, and then let's say I want to sum two numbers. So I can call this as sum two numbers x and y. Okay, and then I use the double column. So basically I can return x plus y. Okay, and then when I want to call the function, I just need to copy paste this one, and I need to input, of course, some values. Let's say x equals to 6.7 and y equals to 4.0. Okay, and you can assign this result as z, and if you want to print it on the screen, then you just need to print. So the sum is 10.7. So we can see that we can define our own functions, or we can use like built-in functions in Python, or we can actually import some modules and basically use the access the functions using the dot operator, and we can use those functions. So thank you.